They call it the Terminal 5 madness, a moment of raw, unscripted panic that signaled the end of a decades-long protection racket. While the headlines are currently focused on Bill Gates's eye-opening apology and his admitted lapses in judgment involving Russian women, a much more sinister web is being unspun. You've heard the names, but you haven't seen the thread that connects them all. From the heights of the fashion world to the dark corners of the music industry, there is one person who bridges the gap between Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. Her name? Naomi Campbell. But this isn't just a story about celebrity parties and private jets. It's a story about an intelligence-gathering operation that used the world's most beautiful women as bait for a honeypot designed to control the most powerful men on Earth. And now, the Black Book is finally speaking. One name that keeps surfacing with surgical precision in the latest release of the Epstein files is Naomi Campbell. To the casual observer, it's a shock. To those in the industry, it's the inevitable. Naomi wasn't just a guest, she was a fixture. She was close to Diddy. She was a confidant of Harvey Weinstein. Some victims have gone on record stating the only reason they trusted these men in the first place was because they saw Naomi, a global icon, hanging out with them. But look at the flight logs. The Lolita Express wasn't just a plane, it was a mobile crime scene. Naomi's name appears multiple times. While being on a jet isn't a crime, the testimony from survivors paints a horrifying picture of what happened at 30,000 feet. Survivors describe a culture where guests were serviced mid-flight. Even more damning, an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell from last year where she directly named Naomi as a friend who visited the island. We aren't talking about a one-time meeting, we are talking about a deep, structural relationship that spanned years. Years before the Department of Justice started dropping these 3 million-page tranches, one woman was shouting from the rooftops, Jaguar Wright. At the time, she was dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, but today her prophecies are looking like a roadmap. Jaguar didn't just claim Diddy and Epstein were connected, she explained how. She detailed a pipeline where young women trying to break into the music industry were lured into auditions for music videos only to have their IDs and passports seized. According to Wright, these women were drugged, filmed, and then broken in before being shipped to Epstein's island or exported to Dubai and Moscow. The most chilling part? She claimed these victims were often sent to high-profile music video shoots, specifically naming Rick Ross to act as groupies so they could walk around society without looking like victims. It was a camouflage system for trafficking. If the parties were the hook, what was the ultimate goal? This is where the story takes a turn into the truly macabre. There are whispers, and now documents, suggesting that the elite weren't just after pleasure, they were after genetic perfection. Hollywood publicist Peggy Siegel once joked about bringing Epstein a little baby back from Africa, calling it "So Madonna." But the underlying technology being discussed, SCNT, somatic cell nuclear transfer, involved harvesting eggs from perfect specimens. In the unredacted files, there are mentions of bidding wars where the elite would bid up to $60,000 for eggs and stem cells. They viewed these women as biological resources for their own longevity. As one industry insider put it, your period blood is life for someone else. This wasn't just a sex ring, it was a biological supermarket for the 1%. In 2009, the FBI conducted a sting operation on Epstein's Palm Beach house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez. The video, released in the recent Trove, shows Rodriguez trying to sell Epstein's address book for $50,000. He describes a database, a digital catalog of Swedish, Romanian, and Brazilian girls, all minors. He implicates Ghislaine Maxwell as the travel agent who would scout Eastern Europe for fresh talent. This database wasn't just for Epstein, it was a menu for his associates. The video ends abruptly when the bag of cash is handed over, but the implication remains. The Black Book was just the tip of the iceberg. The real list is digital, encrypted, and contains the names of people who are still making laws today. U.S. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna recently stood before the House Oversight Committee and dropped a bombshell. In her professional opinion, Epstein wasn't just a criminal, he was an intelligence asset running a honeypot operation. A honeypot is a classic spy tactic. You lure a powerful target into a compromising situation, film it, and use it as leverage. This explains why the client list has been redacted for years. It wasn't about protecting the victims, it was about protecting the assets currently sitting in world governments. Luna named specific women, Leslie Groff, Sarah Kellen, and Nadia Marcinkova, not as victims, but as co-conspirators who helped run the operation. If this was an intelligence-gathering mission, then every flight on the Lolita Express was a potential blackmail session. We are finally seeing the heavy hitters enter the deposition room. For the first time in history, a former president, Bill Clinton, has been compelled to testify. Alongside Hillary, the Clintons have maintained they had no memory of meeting Epstein or visiting his properties. Yet the photos say otherwise. Bill in a hot tub with an unnamed woman, Hillary casually knowing Ghislaine. And then there's the tragedy of Virginia Giuffre, the woman who brought down Prince Andrew. Just as she was preparing to publish her memoir, Nobody's Girl, and name the final names, she was involved in a near-fatal accident with a school bus. Weeks later, she was gone. While authorities ruled it a suicide, her father, Sky Roberts, isn't buying it. He publicly stated, "There's no way. Somebody got to her." As more names like Leslie Wexner and various Emirati billionaires are forced into the light, we have to ask, is this the end of the cover-up or just the beginning of a new one? The frightening conclusion here is that your association is your conviction. If the flight logs, the black book, and the honeypot photos are all true, then the global hierarchy is built on a foundation of leverage. The names are out there. They're on the flight logs. They're in the little black book. We know who they are. The only question left is, will the system actually punish its own? Or is this just another performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is the next untouchable to fall? And if you want to stay updated as the final 3 million pages are released, hit that subscribe button. The truth is coming out, one redacted line at a time.